Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Enough channel. In this video we're going to do our round 12 preview. So just forwarding through to the most commonly traded in and out players. So we'll just go on the captain's choice list here. And so number one, we've got Dylan Brown. So, recently got halfback status. So he's now dual position at about 100k discount on his starting price. Covers round 13 and 14. And playing against South this week, who haven't had the strongest defence this season. So, everything lines up to say that that is a pretty good trade in. And definitely one I'm considering. The second one on the list is Blaze Talangi. So very similar to what we just talked about. Probably the difference with Talangi is there is a chance that he'll lose his spot in a couple of weeks with Gutherson coming back. There is a bit of hope now that Brad Arthur's gone from the picture that maybe they'll give Talangi an extended run and look to move Gutho into the centres. So I guess, if you are looking for a centre wing this week, he is the one to get on. Negative 68 break even. So worst case scenario is he makes a quick even 150k from this point. And then you can obviously move him on if you need to with Gutherson taking the spot back at fullback. Failongo is number 3 on the list. So again, another one whose job security is a bit murky with Ryan Pappenhausen due back in round 14. I guess they may want to take a more cautious approach with Paps given his injury history. So Failongo might get an extended run. But, I think if you're looking for a centre wing, Talangi is the pick. Failongo is obviously if you've got nothing better to do. Eli Katoa, number 4, I think is a great trade-in. Sort of keeper option in the second row. Has that nice upside that we like and, doesn't seem to have too many down games. So if you wanted to bring him in, you could absolutely do that. K Weeks at number 5. So, still negative break-even, averaging 58, which is solid for a 5/8. Obviously, if you're trading down at fullback, um, it's not ideal, but I mean, if that's the way to get him in the squad, and then you might trade out of a Tamara Martin next week, for example, I could definitely understand that move. Number 6, Joey Manu. Yep, great trading. Obviously back from his concussion. Will be better value next week with you'd imagine him taking the fullback spot with Tedesco playing Origin. So you can wait a week, but he with a break even of 77, he may be a little bit more expensive next week. Number 7, Jerry Marshall King. So I think the number 1 hooker option for our teams going into the buys. A decent matchup against the Warriors, although the Warriors might have found just a little bit of form against Penrith last week. But yeah, absolutely can trade him in. Matt Burton at number 8. I guess if you've already got Dylan Brown, Matt Burton pairs really well because they both have the dual position, 5/8 half back. So, if you're carrying Nico Hines as well, you can plug Dylan Brown in your halfback spot pretty comfortably. Or obviously, if Burton's playing, then he can go there. Dylan Brown can stay at 5/8, whatever you want to do there. But I guess that it seems more and more likely that Burton might find his way on the bench as like the utility option. Um, but I guess we just got to wait and see on I think Sunday night the Blues usually name their team first, so we'll know more then. Toa Cooler, number 9, great option. Obviously, the one downside is he doesn't play round 13 and does play the Storm this week. So even with a break even of 9, you can wait till after the bye and get him then. I think they cover around 16 from memory, which is going to be handy. But do have the bye round 17. So I think if you can cover that, it might be a good investment. Josiah Karapani at number 10. So I guess if you're looking for a bottom dollar option to, upgrade elsewhere, he would be the one to go with. But he has only played one game, so his price isn't going to go anywhere. Um, the Broncos don't play round 13. And then I'm not quite sure who he's replacing, but they might be back to full strength by that point. So just one to keep in mind if you're looking at a cash cow. He's not if you're looking for essentially a bottom dollar enough, perhaps. And I guess special shout out to number 11, Tyron Wishart. I do like this pick as well. Um, I'd probably have him above Matt Burton if I'm being honest, but maybe below Dylan Brown, just given that he doesn't play round 13. Um, but should get a good run in the sixth jersey given Munster's out injured. Um, so yeah, I think he's one I would definitely like to have in the team, but I don't know if I can swing it at the moment. Um, just a quick one there. I've just seen David Armstrong, 14th most owned player. Just wait a week. He's on the bye this week. He's not going to get away from you. You'll still get that negative 54 break even next week. So save your trade. If you want to bring in someone at that price, probably look at Talangi. Maybe even Failunga if you need the fullback dual position. Both better options than bringing in Armstrong and parking him for a week. On the trade outs, so number one, Taylor May, out indefinitely. Hasn't been in the best form, so absolutely makes sense. Cam Munster, injured. A lot of money to sit on the bench, so makes sense. RTS, Nathan Cleary. I don't know why you've been holding them this long. Trade them out. I guess maybe with Cleary, people were waiting for Dylan Brown to get halfback status, so that makes sense. Luke Brooks is the first one in terms of active players, and I think that's fair enough. Storm this week's not a great matchup, and then the bye, so can give Brooksy the chop. SJ, and then Schiller, Chan, both not named, so it makes sense to get rid of. Trey Fuller's one I'd try and keep, given that he will play next week at fullback. You'd imagine with the hammer, you'd imagine would be playing for Queensland. Um, problem with this is I don't know when the numbers stop. We'll just do the next few, I suppose. Bradman Best injured, so yep, you can cut him. Kai Pierce Paul on the bye, I would hold and just wait 1 week. See what his uh, status is. If he's sort of named on the bench again, Tyson Frizzell doesn't make the Origin team. Um, then yeah, you can probably chop him. But I would try to keep him if you can. Joey Lussick, I think, is one you can get rid of. Um, and Wade Egan, AJ Brimson, both injured, so you can get rid of them. In terms of captaincy options this week, so Nico Hines at number one against Penrith. So this is, you're not expecting a massive score. Um, but, Nico Hines seems to be able to score against anyone. So I think it's a safe option. It's definitely not one with a lot of upside. So for the same reason, I probably wouldn't go Dylan Edwards. The Sharks have been quite good defensively. The Roosters were throwing everything in their attacking arsenal to score points, and in the end, it still wasn't enough on Saturday night. So, you'd imagine two sort of fairly solid defensive teams. Could be a bit of a grind. Um, so, maybe the likes of Scott Drinkwater against the Tigers is a pretty nice matchup. Reece Walsh against the Titans. If you've got him, you could absolutely captain him. Manu Crichton against the Raiders. Um, yeah, I think that's it. That's a decent call. Actually, I just realised Nathan Cleary at 3%. Probably got a lot of non-players in the all coaches section. So we'll go top 10%. Probably give a more accurate representation. So Hines number one, Drinkwater two, I think makes sense over Edwards. Dave Fafita up to 5 against the Broncos. I guess he's averaging 87, so it's a pretty safe option on Sunday. Walsh is there, Angus Crichton's there. Jermaine Asako against the Warriors is definitely a ballsy move. Val Holmes against the Tigers, sort of rinse and repeat what we said about Scott Drinkwater. And Dom Young against the Raiders, so I guess, given his ability to score big, it definitely is a bit of a punt, but one that could pay off. VC, so pretty much, the same sort of options. Matt Burton playing on Thursday night is probably, a bit of a interesting shout against the Dragons. Coming off the bye, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Ruben Garrick against the Storm, I wouldn't be that keen on, but guess you never know. Zach Lomax against the Dogs, so first game as well, so good chance to have a punt on that. And Jacob Kiraz, same sort of thing, attacking player, first game of the round, um, and he does have the ability to score well. So some interesting options there. In terms of my team this week, um, so I guess the plan all along was to upgrade Lussick and Martin to Brown and Marshall King. But I guess the sort of uh, I don't know what the right word is to describe it. The issue with that plan is Mr. Blaze Talangi. So you know, just have that feeling that it could be very handy to have him in the team. Even when Gutho comes back, given the form he's in, they might actually experiment with the whole Gutho to centre thing. So what I'm thinking is this week is we'll go Tamara Martin to Dylan Brown, lock that in, but then we'll get out of Taylor May was a punt that didn't really pay off, and we'll bring Talangi in. So obviously we're still going to have Lussick at hooker. We still don't have Marshall King. Um, but we could wait a week, obviously, bring him in next week. We could even wait until after the Dolphins bye in round 14. So after that bye, they only have the bye in round 18, and then they cover, the rest of the bye rounds in terms of the big buys, so 16, 17, 19, 20. So we don't need to make the move just yet. Give Lysick one look this week. Obviously, if it looks like we're going to lose points, we could do it next week. Um, but, I feel comfortable that we can still make that move when we need to down the track. But, yeah, it does give us Talangi, which is pretty nice. And against South, he could reproduce this 102, so we want to be a part of that. Going to bring Dylan Brown in. Actually, I'm going to put Matt Burton in, given they play Thursday night. Um, what else are we going to do? So Kai Paul's on the bye. So I guess our final reserve comes down to either a Galvin, Eero, or Lussick. So Galvin's got the Cowboys, isn't it? Friday night. So, you know, the Cowboys haven't been fantastic of late. They probably were made to look a bit better by South than what they were. So I think we can play Galvin pretty comfortably. Um, and so then I'll just go through. Do we need to change? Probably, for feeder, plays the latest. So something like that. And then we just got to decide on our captain, vice captain. So I think originally I must have gone with Drinkwater Hines. That looks like a pretty winning combination. Drinkwater Friday night, nice and early. Plenty of time to swing around, say Armstrong into the team if we need to. Or we could even do Kai Paul, I suppose. Maybe sacrifice the Smithies or something would work. Yeah, so something like that. So we'll go Drinkwater. Um, And then we'll just go the safe captain with Nico Hines. Nothing too fancy there. And we'll leave it at that. I should do the draft team, I think. So I don't think there was too many changes. Just I guess Adam Elliott, Jaden Brayley on the bye. So I brought Terrell May in, switched Barnett to the second row. Um, Moses Sully is available, but don't know where he fits in there. If I'm being completely honest, maybe swap him with Salmon. And then Jacob Preston has become the bench. So it's between him and Salmon essentially. Um, yeah, maybe it's Salmon. I'm not sure on the minutes. That's all. It's not ideal having both, but I don't think there's too much on the waivers. I was trying to get Tyron Wishart, but he was already taken. Let's see, what free agents do we have? I should have probably picked the ones that are playing this week, would be helpful. Oh, it's down here, I think. Selected to play. There we go. So, yeah, so Nichols, Neem, Hutchinson, nothing here. So I just binned Rocco Berry not too long ago. Um, Isaiah Katara, I guess, if I did want a backup half, but I'm not that keen. Fisher Harris could be solid through Origin, but again, not exciting. Pretty set at hooker, so we don't need to look at Walters. Uh, so yeah, there's no one exactly jumping out of the ground screaming "pick me," so that's fine. We'll just run with the team as is. But we'll wrap the video up there. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below the video. Give us a like if you enjoy the SuperCoach content. Subscribe for all the fantasy sports content on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.